Hello, one and all. Is Thursday night. Back again for the house. Stream getting closer, more more towards the end of the game now than we were towards the beginning. We're about 80%. We're at the end of chapter 6. Chapters. That as you will. But I say all that to say, if you're coming in, this is your first stream, you're coming in kind of late. There's a lot of stuff going on. You probably have no idea. If you booted up the game and played for like 10 minutes and then watched the stream, you're going, "What the hell is going on? Who are these people? What's so feel free to watch, but you missed a lot." To say that, we were here on Tuesday where we trying our damnedest as Michael or Michel to save our beloved Giselle from the clutches, the hands of Morgana, who we thought we did good. We thought if we dove into her heart and revealed the truth to Giselle, that she would find herself and we could just walk out that front door all willy-nilly and everything would be good. But lo and behold, tensions. Just as we were in the throes of some sort of happiness, we held our hand out. She grabbed our hand. Morgana comes in and just rips it all away, takes Giselle. And now, we had to go through the house in some sort of mini visual novel dungeon crawl, in which we had to go and seek out the ghosts of the three men from the previous stories and get a key from each of them to unlock the tower, the observation tower where we believed Morgana to be with Giselle. We get there, and this whole time the house is transformed. It's dripping blood from the ceilings. There's like blood all over the walls and floors. If you're screaming about blood, last week was probably, or Tuesday was probably not fun for you.
Not a great one, I would imagine, yeah. It's a lot of blood.
A lot of blood. Content warning for blood and other things.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff. But we managed to finally get into the observation tower. We were making our way up, and then Morgana, all right, well, if you truly want to save Giselle, then maybe, just maybe, you'll take the time to finally listen to what I have to say. Listen to my story. Pull the Titus on us. And so we dove into the history of Morgana. Saw a bit of her past when she was just a normal human girl. Old. A lot of things not out of her hands. Given immaculate birth to her, daughter of God, and miracles. It just got rougher and rougher for her from there.
Yeah, somebody bought her so they could basically have a saint on tap. A lot of drinking of her blood.
Yeah.
Over a protracted period of time, there was some sort of like a coup. I think
it appeared to be some sort of coup, like Viva la Revolution kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I will say we'll get more detail on that later.
She got out in the fracas or was carried out, I guess.
Carried out, got out. I believe the term, there's an idiom here, I believe, out of the frying pan and into the fire. Did not get much better for her.
It said into the freezer, because that's the
the Titus
joke in Final Fantasy X.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a niche reference to the intro of a game that is, what, 20?
20
yeah, I don't like that. Let's not continue the math. We can just move on.
Yeah, she manages to escape the Lord who held her captive, lived for an undeterminate amount of time in a brothel where he like happiest life, but then even more tragedy struck. Bandits attack. He gets dragged off, put into another carriage, rolled off, then saved once again by Oh, she called him a beast. Heard that word before.
All right, yeah.
But after saving the caravan, then just because it was there, because he wanted to, he was a murder hobo in every sense of the term. Decided, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna murder all the people I just saved too, and then went on another killing spree, except sparing her life.
It's right near a level up. So
right near a level of
that last
few more goblins.
chunk of experience. This is why, this is why milestone people.
But that is where we're coming back in. Still, I think in the final stages of the witches' Morgana story, and so I have to prepare my grim crypt keeper voice. Here we go.
Oh yeah, have fun. There's gonna be
hopefully
a
there's not a whole lot left.
It is her story.
It's her story.
Eventually we'll switch back. You would assume.
Now on with this. I was at a complete loss for time after. I didn't want to return to the city because I knew there was no one. There was only the Lord who had bound me. So I in nothing to goes on. Frankly, I'm surprised I wasn't attacked by bandits. After walking for days without food or water, my mind was hazy and weak. Distance, a lake. So driven by my thirst, I turned my gun towards the water, not caring that. And it turned out choice because there was a oh crap chimney telling me. I knocked. The door wasn't slowly, hesitant, pushed it open. And beyond it, I found an old woman, and dead. By trade. Here she had a deep knowledge of medicinal herbs, using it to make us inhabitants with dozens of small glass bottles, ultimately crushed berries, salt and liquid bubbling. Probably passed away, but there was no sign had been. Had a look of serenity on, looking over at the woman's dead body. Envied her. Tagging the I dumped her into the.
Not good.
Doing so makes me a bad person? Makes me unsaintly?
No, just unsanitary. You have to drink that water.
That's true. Well, I didn't have anywhere else to go, and the owner of the cozy cottage is no longer of this world. There was no reason I couldn't fill the home in her stead. I deserve to have everything.
You could have said you were like her granddaughter, just like put a gravestone out there and tell everybody that
I was 9 or 12. I think.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah, no, you're right.
And so I took up residence in the cottage and remained there. By 16, terrible taking root in my. I had no. I shut them out, building high. After such a tumultuous, bloody, all I could do keep my young spirit from cracking. Nevertheless, seeking her. Whenever someone arrived, I cracked the door open, telling them they could. Never. Day, young man. My sister has fallen very ill. He desperate, very soft spoken. There was a distinct, which I thought was yes. He looked. What expressions did he make? peek at him. He was a handsome young man with flowing flaxen upon smile. According to him, though they had tried a number of bedridden, the medicines I gave him again combinations wanted nothing more, even a bit of his, and moved by his dedication. First time in years, my more. When the young man medicine to go on, volunteered to spend time with me, despite my horrible healthy to stay holed up inside all the time. You've got this beautiful lake here. Why don't you say we take a little walk around the shoreline? He said with a smile, taking me. Spoke as we. His voice was all pleasant, like a ray of light back in the water. I was with him, in action person. Talked about his sister. Whatever he did, he was at his most. The young man had been a member of a noble house. Disputes over who was the rightful heir forced him out.
Okay.
His sister fallen ill and was. I'll take anything to make her better. I'll even miracle if I can get one. Muttered beneath his breath. Knocked my faint. No reason. Someone needed help and deserved it more than this young man. So I decided to tell him what I really that my blood had miraculously saved people. At the moment I had been born, the drought plaguing my village had come to an end. The daughter him everything, and he believed it all. Sent me to a young girl. Brother, who looked like she would have spirited if not. It was touching the siblings quietly holding each other. I would gladly give my. So I made, which had healed considerably thanks to the slave and the women of the brothel, and let the either of them out because they believed a miracle. Flaxen head girl recovered enough to get out of bed. Extremely felt like the only issue was it didn't make a complete recovery. For a few days after a miracle had undoubtedly taken place, but it was only temporary. You know what?
She was anemic?
Her recovery was nothing more than a placebo effect caused by her fate. What?
Inbred. You know, anemia, it's common.
But that's something I could not have possibly have known at the time. We're all three perplexed of us. Nevertheless, I was prepared to give the girl more of my blood as many times as needed.
I don't know if it keeps working. I think we should talk about this anemia
Yeah.
thing.
Whenever her condition worsened, he came to request more and never once said drastically for my services. See, I believe she said at the start of her tale that this was like a time around the same time as Michael, so we're looking at somewhere in the Middle Ages. Probably, maybe earlier, I would imagine. Oh.
I mean, I'm trying to figure it out, but it's got to be the Rhodes family. But like, I don't remember the timing on that, and that was way later. I
Yeah, that was
thought
way later
than the mansion.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
So like,
you're still good. You're on track.
It's interesting that they're, I don't know. Yeah, it's this like long string of, I don't know, cursed bloodlines or something.
Shall see. Over
Yeah, my bad.
time, though, the hope in his asked me on walks hesitant. I assume it was out of discomfort, guilt, shame about asking for blood. I don't think his concerns were for me, rather himself. As I mentioned, your blood was considered unclean. Giving mine away, I was having his sister imbibe it. Looking at it that way, it would be a surprise to him or anyone else to think what I was doing was. Time passed. The young man. That's what I got. Opening. That was what I got for letting his kind, warm heart. The moment things were bad, he pulled away. There were times when I thought I should have done anything in the first place, but regardless, I held fast to my original decision. Would put myself on the one else. So interested. I would continue off for my blood, and I was firm in. The young man was still one I would show my face to. The only guest I had let in my wall. So as usual, I took the man's request behind the door. It hard to leave my rich miracle blood. First, how did he? Second, be a witch, not a saint. Third, why did he sound like the man who had slaughtered the slave carriage? I told the man that I would not be opening the door for any reason. In response, in need of your blood, do not little. Blood was for greedy. I would never spare a drop for a murderer like him. And I told the man exactly that, demanding he leave. All I could think about was the pile of bodies, fountain of blood. The man drenched crimson, wearing a ghastly smirk. I trembled behind the door, fearing he was such rage. But instead, he gave a simple, as you say, I let out a deep, which is when I realized tears were rolling down both of my cheeks. Ordinary. 3 days later, the Flaxen Hair Boy showed up at my car. I'm sorry for being so distant lately. I want to talk things over. Those two sentences were like a light. I wanted to take a walk around the lake and listen to him talk about nothing. I wanted to experience the warmth of his world once more. And I wanted to tell him about the terrible man who had been there a few days earlier. And how scared I'd been.
Oh. Said, oh, I think he knows.
Yeah. I wanted him to tell me it would be all right. To talk to you too, I said, opening the door without a second thought. The light of the sun was so bright, all I could make out was his silhouette. I couldn't see the look on his face. Eyes. A gentle breeze passed like an animal. And my mind froze. How could this be happening? What did it mean? Why? How? What was that man doing standing behind him? And why was he carrying a sword? Why was he coming into my house? And why did he swing it down, severing my arm? Dazed. Couldn't make sense of anything. I didn't want to. My left arm fell to the floor before I even knew what was happening. Then my legs gave out. The pain, searing and unbearable, came a few moments later as I was lying in an ever-expanding pool of my own blood. I did something then that I hadn't done before. that I'd resisted doing no matter how much blood the Lord had stolen from me. I screamed. It was a hideous, visceral note, a sound I had never thought a saint could make, the same ear-splitting howl the slaves had made the day the man butchered them. I writhed, I wailed, I wept, I crawled across the floor through my own blood, begged and begged for my life. The man walked over and picked up my, and then, shockingly, tossed it to the kind-hearted young man. After which he said, "That's your share. Should last you long enough." Share? What do you mean by share? What was he talking about? Why had he given him my arm, and why had he taken it? Was he talking like they knew each other? Why? I had blood for him when he asked, hadn't I? So why was he doing this? Cutting off my arm and stealing it easier on his conscience than simply asking? Understand? Felt? You can put yourself in my shoes. The young man refused to look me in the eye, holding my bloody arm and trembling, fled from the cottage as quickly as his legs would allow. The man then walked over and picked me up. I had not. Holding me in his arms, he began to telling me things I didn't want to hear. But he did. Nothing personal. I just need your. Without it. Don't take it personally. Is there anyone in this world who wouldn't feel a bit of spite being put through such torture? How was I supposed to let that slide? No one's that much of a saint. My trust had been betrayed. I was supposed to turn the other cheek. Man had barged into my home uninvited, cut off my arm, and I was supposed to smile and take it. Is there anyone, anywhere, who doesn't feel even the slightest bit of hatred ever? Is there anyone in the
I
world?
love the uninvited part. Like
Yeah.
that it's like, how rude. I didn't even say they could come in. And then they cut my arm off.
Is there anyone in this world who can just laugh and brush off this level of abuse? Tell me, is there? Would you, Michael? Or Michel? How could I not hold a grudge? How could I not despise them? Could I possibly forgive them? Tell me, please. Tell me, how could I? The money, he said. He needed some way of getting enough money to keep her church running. So the Lord made me an offer. If I brought him the witch with the miracle blood, he would finance a whole new church for her. The Lord? Him again. Why couldn't he leave me alone? After trying to kill me during one of his blood Sabbaths, why was he after my blood once more? Had he learned it really did have miraculous? Decided he wanted me back? Sacrifice. To keep her church from collapsing. To keep her world from collapsing. Sacrifice. Excuse me, what? And what's this all about keeping her church from collapsing? You murdered a carriage full of innocent people. You're trying to protect a church? You? Are you out of your damn mind? Churches are where people go to commune with God, to speak with my Father. How dare you soil those sanctified grounds with your filthy hands, you beast? It's insulting, sacrilegious, repulsive. Just what do you think we are? So don't take it personally. I'm not a witch. Saint. I was a saint. My blood exists to do the Lord's work, not to satisfy the avarice of men. Why is this happening to me? But instead of taking me to the Lord's man, brought me to the outskirts. So, to be honest, it looked more like. To be honest, it looked more like an estate than a church. I see where this is going. The church also served as a hospital, offering
there is a chapel.
Free care to those less fortunate children, the poor and the infirm. That was when I learned why he had said they needed money. The owner of the church offered unconditional assistance to anyone who, even when food and supplies ran low, rationed their own in order to keep helping others. As a result, the church was perpetually on the verge of collapse. The The church was run by a woman, something exceedingly rare for the time. There were no priests, all management handled by a single nun, who everyone referred to as the saintess. I was the saint. Why was this woman, who didn't have the ability to perform miracles, being worshipped like the dead? Why did the people of the city idolize her? Why were their smiles all directed at her? Why was I not in her place? And carried me to the top of the observation tower. It was there that I had my reunion sword. I was to but also profit. He was not offering free aid, but selling it as medicine. He claimed it was a miracle elixir, telling no one that it was actually my blood. Oh man, the FDA
Right.
would not approve of that.
Yeah. But it's good. You don't like people don't like blood. That's a bad brand.
Well, it was
A
mixed.
miracle elixir. People love that.
It was mixed with a beautiful red wine, and drinking it would cure you of any ailment. So, it looked like wine.
Yeah.
Blood in it.
Tastes like wine. Have a little bit of a weird to it, and you're good.
If they knew it was actually the blood
Healing
of a
potion.
witch, they would think it was unclean. They would fear it. I remained in prison for long. In the beginning, the swordsman guarded me, though before long the flaxen-haired young man showed up as well. Presumably one severed arm wasn't enough to keep his sister healthy for long. Listening to their conversations, I learned that to ensure no one else could get in, observation filled with three. The Lord, the swordsman, and the young man each held one of the I was their secret, away in a tower from the drain of blood, away from wandering. I lost the will to eat. The only view from the tower was of the clouds through a window high up on the wall. Occasionally, a pigeon would, sometimes a butterfly. I would glare in envy at its fluttered around, free to come and go as it pleased. And soon it was.
Said it was a prison.
Yeah. Every spring, the church held a festival to pray for the coming year's harvest. I could hear the bustle from afar below, through the window as everyone rushed to. I heard the flaxen-haired girl's voice, who had regained her health drinking my blood. I heard her brother's voice, who had betrayed me. I heard the nun's voice, who played saint in my head. I heard the barbaric swordsman's voice, who had chopped off my arm. I heard the Lord's voice, the root of. I heard people praising the saintess, though I, the true saint, was locked in a tower. People thanking the Lord for his generous donations and miracle medicines, though it had all come propped up on my suffering. They cheered and clinked glasses of my bloody wine. Those merry, peaceful, fearful, spirited sinners' voices resounded in horror, and at noon on the day of festival. 1, 2. I got to do all 12. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And with the 12th child, I died. Those last people faded in the tower open. Standing on the other side of it were the must have wanted to drain all blood from me. Arrived at the worst possible moment. The flaxen-haired young man was the first to express his consternation. Why, I never wanted her to die. Was she not eating? The Lord gave my corpse a casual glance and said stone-faced, "Seal the tower off. Understood? No one finds out about this." How can you be so calm? You understand what you've done? Pinning the blame on me? How nice it must be to be able to distort reality with panic. The swordsman, who had been serving the Lord and the boy conversing, interjected. Guilty as any of us. Not only did they not mourn my death, they argued over whose fault it was. There was no regret, no remorse. The young man muttered absent-mindedly, I never wanted her to die. What did his intentions matter, though? It was his betrayal that had ultimately tethered me to this mansion. The fact that they didn't grieve my death and instead squabbled amongst themselves like filthy rats was the final straw. Not despised. I don't believe I actually had the power to perform miracles when I was alive. It's
One
all
could say
faith.
still being after being dead is one.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Good work.
Illusion of belief. I was neither a saint nor a witch. Blood wine was only effective because people placed their faith in the other saint. It was only ever human. Then, in that moment, an actual miracle, my father bestowed on me his power. Perhaps, perhaps it. Who lent me his? I was looking down upon my own dead body, my own wretched. There was nothing beautiful about the pile of bones I had become. I could almost smell the rotting flesh. That was once the same. I laughed at it. It was absurd, ridiculous, and infuriating. They would, those who had cast me into this hell, who had mocked me, who had done this to me, who had made a witch out of me. Hatred coursed through me, revulsion at everyone on these grounds still smiling. They would know just whose dead shoulders their little party was resting. They wanted so bad. Then a witch I would be. I would kill them, every last one of them, place a curse on them. And so I wish. Most people might curse, but to me it was most certainly a wish. And my father, granted that wish. From the garden, there rose a flaxen-haired young man knew that voice better than went deathly starting down the spine. The young girl was on her knees, vomiting blood in the ground.
You don't want that.
Yeah. The young man let out a yelp as he descended the remaining staircase. As soon as he reached the garden, he lifted the girl in his arms, but she had all. Realizing this, he cried to the heavens, saying the one thing he should have kept to himself. The witch killed her. The blood of the witch killed my sister. That wine you're drinking is no medicine. It's the blood of a witch. You're all drinking witch's blood. Crushed by the loss of his own only family, the young man picked up a silver fork and plunged it into his own throat,
Wow.
ending his life. Naturally,
Wow.
there was an uproar. Naturally.
Man, in the like in 10 minutes later, he like, you kidding me? That's not a good way.
No.
There's no good. I'm not trying to, but like,
Yeah,
bad choice.
It's not going to be immediate, that's for sure. Yeah.
That is a long, slow way to
Yeah.
go, it would appear.
Goblets
Unless
of,
you're really good, I guess. I don't know.
goblets of wine crashed against the earth in rapid succession as holding on to them fell to the ground and vomited or convulsed. The nun was the first target of their outrage. What she had claimed to be medicine had turned out to be blood, an unclean substance. The blood of a witch, no less. A servant of the church, a servant of the Lord, had given her followers blood to drink. At this, their indignation surged uncontrollably. The people
Are Catholic?
The people surrounded her, tying her up and throwing her to the ground. As they prepared to inflict righteous justice upon her, the swordsman soared down the stairs and into the garden, plunging his blade into anyone standing near the nun. Cries of agony ringing through the church grounds were ear-splitting. It was no longer a place of God, but hell on earth. Hell built up by the hands of man. Hell painted red with the blood of their brothers. The people armed themselves with anything they could find and went after the man. As much of a beast as he may have been, he stood little chance against such. It is the fate of a beast to be exterminated by those he terrorizes, and once he was gone, the nun had no one left to protect. She too was consumed by the frenzy. All that remained was an inextinguishable inferno. Hysteria and despair, madness and outrage, and no outlet. It was a revolt that made the slaves' uprising at the Lord's manor look like a game. Eventually, their rage found a new target, the Lord. It was only natural, for he was the true villain of this story. He was the only one who'd given money, or he was the one who'd given money and the witch's blood to the church. He was the one who'd profited off of it. And above all, the people often resented those who stood above them, particularly in times of unrest. The city resounded with cries for their lord's head, and he looked down upon it all from the safe observation tower. He could do nothing but watch as his domain burned. I can only imagine how painful that was. But before long, having seemingly made his peace, he began descending the stairs. He opened the door at the bottom, revealing himself to his people. But before the door had swung all the way open, before he even had a chance to say his final words, someone ran a blade. Yes. That the raging fury mostly. Hardly the end of the destruction. 3 days later, a plague befell the city. Dreadful black spots covered the affected. They writhed in pain, screaming and vomiting blood. Ghastly howls echoed the streets as though the whole city had been possessed. It became a curse. In their diseased haze, the people muttered again and again, "We have been cursed by the witch." My body was left abandoned at the top of the ob, and, as if to curse away their final, shuttered all the windows, wrapping the house in. It's possible. Yeah. That was no miracle either. You can easily explain what happened. Locked away for so long in that dirty tower, maybe I caught some kind. Then, the people drank my blood, they too. Hardly anything out of the ordinary about that. The first to die, the girl had already been ill. Her body merely chose the worst possible time to her ailment. That was all that had happened. Nothing more. Improbable. An unbelievable, unfortunate accident in those, and an indescribably fortunate accident myself. But I was a miracle. That even if my didn't have, even the wish, my curse, was what caused that uprising. That was my miracle, granted to me by God or the devil. Believe, and that my miracle took on its true form there. My curse had brought death upon the 3 men, but for whatever reason, my rancor far from. It died, yes. So what? Death is but a transient agony. It's nothing compared to what I went through. So I made my next wish. I wished for their reconstruction. I wished eternal suffering on their soul. I wished to trap them in a never-ending cycle of pain and hatred. That was my wish for the flaxen-haired young man. He treasured his dear sister, and he desired a quiet life. So I wish for him to have just that. Beloved sister to love him more than anything in the world, for his world to be destroyed by love gone too far. This was my wish for the beast-like man. He was conscious of his tendency for violence, and yet he yearned to be more human. Had his inner beast toned up just a little. I saw to it that he would never be human, so he would never have a peace he so desired. I wish the Lord was more straightforward. He seemed to have a great affection for wealth and authority, so I insured those were the only things he could ever have. Who needs love or friendship when you could be drowning in power? Once he had lost everything, his solitude would be his only companion. Wishes can come true, as long as you always hold fast. Never stop wishing, never surrender. They can come true. Eternal suffering on all their souls. An endless cycle of reconstruction, an unavoidable tragedy.
Up until those last 2 lines, it could have been like a Disney movie or something. Like, just wish, you know, you can believe in it. Never stop wishing. Eternal suffering.
Tell me, my dear, do you sympathize? Will you curse them with me? Will you take my Will you take my hand and revile them with me?
No. Fuck off. You got a weird thing going on.
Yeah. Like, yeah, you've been through some shit. I understand, but man,
I'm
let
sorry.
it
I want
go.
no part of this. Like, look, you got some damage. I get that. I need to not be a party to it.
This time,
Um,
destruction, mental, excruciating pain. So intense I can't even eat. My mind thick with feel like I'll fall into a bottomless pit if I loosen my reflected in blood. I see my face, large chunks of off. Look at you trying to crawl up the stairs like a worm. How pathetic. It's like I'm looking at my old self. Barely form a coherent. Can't lament her. Can't mourn or be fills every corner, nook and cranny of my. You figured it out by now, haven't you, my dear? You'll never make it. It's not possible. But it's not your fault. Not because you're weak. There's simply no one who can bear this pain. You're allowed to give up. The rest. There's nothing wrong with that. The pain, the crushing weight, it's miserable, isn't it? Turn back. You'll all whispers. You've put in a fine effort. There's no shame in throwing in the towel. Went up, and I know there's something coming. Her voice is soft, pleasant. Concede defeat. Fearing pain, thump of my station of being actually miserable. Laughter, miserable wailing. Oh, that's her. We'll all be over. You have the power to make it stop. No. No. I have to. You're back at my side. I'll do anything. Take her back. If it means I end up 1,000 tiny meat, will not give up on her for any reason. Oh, such resolve. Willing to sacrifice yourself to save the girl, like a hero of legend. Maybe a prince? Prince? Human. I don't have any. Not a. Just love with any other. That's all I need. One act of. Doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter how much you cut me up. Nothing changes what I have to do. I have to take her back and set her free of this mansion. Nothing else. Never will I back down on that. As long as I can make my way up. forward, ever dragging my bloody body, paying no, paying the pain. Place my, holding myself. Take a moment to gaze into the void and shout her name. Morgana! You are a saint. For that I am enraged. I felt your pain. As I watched your life, I too felt a burning hatred for. If you feel that way, then why can't you stay here with me? We're all dead anyway. We've reached our ends. Do you honestly think there's anything more for us? There isn't. The end is the end. So what do you say the three of us, me, you, and Giselle, torture the three of them and everyone they have ever cared about? Make them suffer here for all eternity in this house. That way you and Giselle can be together for. That's not an option. Why not? This hatred only brings pain. Ah. Oh, that's brilliant. You're spouting stupid platitudes at me. I can't believe my ears. Save your nonsense moralizing about how hatred does you no good. I won't hear it. I'm doing just fine for myself, my dear. In fact, I've never been better.
That's like a very funny argument. Like, yeah, like I'm sorry, no, I'm fueled by hate. Thank you. It's been doing great for centuries, in fact. So fuck you. In fact, how dare you?
I feel wonderful. Did you think that would be enough to persuade me? Really? And how disappointed. Here I thought you understood me. Why don't you say what you really think? Go right ahead. Hate them as much as you want. But keep me and Giselle out of it. Why didn't you just say that? I do feel bad. Truthfully. For all the time we spent together, never once I asked about your life. I mean, really, I just thought you were a voice in my head. I thought I was going crazy.
Yeah. No, yeah, you can't address them, acknowledge them. That's confirming you're going nuts, right?
I was just so focused on myself, and in the end, hey, that you did. You wanted to be with Giselle, so you pushed me out. Wish I'd asked you.
Wouldn't have said it that way.
It wouldn't have changed anything, though. One puny man knowing what I went through would hardly be enough to erase the loathing I bear. It would have turned out the same regardless. There's nothing you could have done for me. There is nothing. Like to apologize. Had I known what was in my protecting you, could have chosen something. I cannot remain, nor can I allow her to. I would like both my past. Well, in that case, sure, my blood seeps slowly. Push open, praying beyond it life possible that it might cast a bit. Bedroom. What I find behind the door. Huh? Oh, Vision Morgana.
No, it's not. I am the real me. Thank you for coming all the way here for me.
Very kind and courageous of you, Michel. I'm deeply moved you would have such compassion, not only for her, but for someone. What do you? You're a
Broken down.
worm. What do you say we pull back the curtain, my? There's one detail that hasn't yet come to light. This isn't your first return to the mansion, is it? You've been back numerous times, each time not remembering her, and each time hurting her even more. Talking about. What am I talking about? Oh, you know good and well, my dear. Or do you honestly believe that all the other pieces were there in their rightful places, and yet you alone were some exception?
Hmm.
Never. Tell me, how was it? Living in so many different eras, not knowing who you were, and playing with all the different men. No, you're out of your mind. You make it sound like I was. Not like, my dear. You are the white haired girl. No, how could anyone possibly confuse me with her? Tell you the truth, I couldn't see you as anyone else. Your white hair, your red eyes and porcelain skin, and your name. Tell me, what about you isn't the same? We're not the same person. I'm a.
I saw the letter. The one you had hidden. You didn't think that was worth mentioning?
No, I didn't mean. You're exactly right, my dear Giselle. He deceived you. He kept a very important secret from you. Despite showing up before you multiple times, he cast you aside again and again. Oh, no, that wasn't me. It wasn't.
It all makes sense now. Nothing you ever did was for me.
No, I go on. Tell him exactly how you feel.
Michelle,
Please don't. Get that, please. I'm begging you.
you're
Please don't, Giselle.
not actually.
Don't say it.
A man at all, are you? Huh. You're disgusting? Jesus.
Ah. You're the only could have been, my dear. The only one who could have been the white-haired girl. The next moment comes tumbling down. I could have been born anything. Losing my arm, having my any amount of pain. I you this coming from your mouth, being rejected by you. That those words. You're the one person.
Get it. She was down. She was in it to like when she was. I am so confused. I don't understand. It's like gotta be a scam.
Wrote to first time I wanted to show convinced her there is something that I ask no longer always tell not. That's why when you were making that observation earlier, I was like, it doesn't really matter what you call him. Michelle works, Michael works. I found someone whom
Well,
I care for.
Michelle is
Yeah, yeah.
But the other one isn't Michael.
Right. I found
They
someone.
they've got to both be Michelle, or
Yeah, they're
they've
both
got the
Michelle.
same name, right? Yeah, like
I found someone whom I care for. Woman. Love her with all. Like to spend simply to have a quiet. Go through our days. That is the one thing I know you are. Body, man, heart, please. Have no grudge. In fact, I am incredibly grateful to love shortly after dragged down against my beneath me spreads my own path, my door, door I swore ever to open. All my efforts, rolled I never. The history, past, I anyone to less. Two things. First, raced. Second, they low babies. Second, kid. No one was. Its mother surely enjoyed, or her child finally blind to the fact the moment it had this day still doesn't know that she curse upon demons. God, look at that.
she's beautiful, isn't she? Or I guess, have you seen her laugh? There we go.
That I
Got a
haven't.
different voice.
At any rate, that color certainly is something else.
God's gift to us. Sorry, just a second here. Okay. No, she's an angel sent from heaven.
Angel. Ah, yes, I can see it now, Liddy. White hair and almost translucent skin. It's beautiful.
Why? She opened her eyes. Maybe she felt you nearby. Do you like your father more than me? Is that it, sweetheart? Gorgeous, aren't they? Such a deep, enchanting color, like two little jewels.
A magnificent shade of red. Never seen anything like it. And this is our child.
He's special. I can feel it. We have to take good care of her. She needs a name, one that's just as special as her. Have you already chosen, Antonin?
For a girl, you do it. Besides, I already had to rack my brain for the boys' names. Now it's your turn.
Are you really gonna let me? My, that's quite a lot of pressure.
Name her after an angel, then.
Oh, I like that. All right then. We'll call her Michelle after the Archangel Michael. You'll grow up to be as beautiful as an angel, my Michelle. I always wanted a little girl.
Their snowy white hair, skin so worn as the The blessed babe, born a girl, given an angel's name. Me. Be the older brother Didier.
Sure. Ah, I see. That's what you did. Curses. I completely overlooked that. I thought you were advancing with your pawns, but that was all a diversion. You got me. You're quite good at this, Michel. What inspired you to take such an aggressive strategy? Did I lose you? I'm not, are you reading lines?
I'm about to. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Okay.
wasn't hearing you
Okay.
say. Yeah, they were advancing, and I wasn't hearing
Okay.
them go up. Yeah, we went through like three.
Yes. Anyways, similar to real war tactic.
My military texts. You haven't read all of them, have you?
I have nothing but
Impressive. Even I haven't read all the books in my room. You planning to join the order with that kind of knowledge?
guessed. The other one is going to be a knight, Didier.
That I am. War is the men's job, after all. I want you to be there to welcome me home.
Didier! Oh, Didier! I'm in a bit of a bind. Hello there, Michel. Oh. Just got back. Yep. Oh, playing chess again, are you? Let's see. What do you have here?
Get away from the board.
Yikes, you got trounced, huh? You call yourself a big brother?
As if you're any better.
Not funny. I cannot approve of someone who can't keep up with the battle becoming. In our family's rank, you would eventually.
What, are you worried about me?
No, I'm saying.
You suck, and you should be better. You're gonna embarrass us. Mm-hmm. I've been blessed with such a caring sister. But fear not. I have a guardian angel, after all.
Logic in that. Sorry to interrupt your moment, but nobody ever listened.
No, don't pout. So, what seems to be the problem, Georges?
Yes. Listen to this. The royal court is holding a swordsmanship. For some reason, I was selected to participate.
Fortunate for you. Can already see you on the ground sobbing.
Hey, now that's just mean. Besides, my hands weren't meant to hold a sword. Look at these dainty things. They're covered in calluses. Dainty calluses. Tell me, why would they have an artist sword fight?
That's the whole point, I would think. No need to get so worked up. No one's expecting you to win.
Maybe not, but we do have a name to worry about. And you know what that means, don't you? Going to lose. That's a given. But I want to do it instead.
I feel bad for your sword.
Oh, don't be like that. Now, come on. Time's a wasting. To the courtyard we go.
Just so you know, if I train you, I'm gonna train you right.
All I want to know is how to look good.
Hmm? What is it, Michel?
Fine with me, but you know you can't go outside. Windows.
Still, you need to be careful. You can't spend too much time in the sun.
I had two. Here. Knights. And below him was George's. He was, in all likelihood, would inherit as knights were not formally elected. Nevertheless, the Bollinger family name was upheld by. Then there was me, the youngest daughter. Physically, I was not in particularly because of the color of my skin. Rarely left. Perhaps out of pity or passion, my brother spent city or played chess with me. George's top, among other things. Girl, incredibly fortunate. One thing I wasn't allowed to do, well, hardly anything usual. If I had been told I couldn't do it, strength probably would. But the reason given was not that I was weak. Here, that
Come on, put your back into it.
like I said, all I want to do is put on a good show.
Oh, you'll put on quite a show. Unless you learn how to swing that sword properly.
Give me a break. Garden, my brother's wings bare chested. All I could do though was bar. Found myself watch pain little needle that mother and my brothers loved dearly, but that didn't change back to the out trapped hate. First, I thought that was the root of contradict something I couldn't ignore. I searched within myself, trying to find wrongness. Day after day,
My. Now, what are the two of them doing out there? Swordsmanship? Oh, I just can't stand those shows. Blades are so dangerous. I can't watch people swinging them at each other. Why don't you come back to your room with me, Michel? We'd love to teach you how to sew. Michel, first of all, you need to watch how you speak, young lady. You do not call me mom, you call me mother. This is what happens when you spend so much time around boys. As your mother, I don't approve of you playing chess or making art. Woman has no need for such skills. They will only make you look insolent.
but
I want you to grow up to be a respectable woman. That is my job and my dream as your mother. Now come. I would rather you looked at some fine embroidery with me than a couple of sweaty men. You are my little girl, after all.
spending time, gentle voice, the way she constantly her diet, wonderful. Everything she did puts of all love to say. Girl, there was nothing strong. Was my no interest in what purpose it taught me. I didn't feel right. Would be married, but it was an ominous. I would have preferred ravaging books in the room than having mother tales of heroes, dauntless missions, and thinking about them set training to be a long sword glimmering with the blood of sap. Soon, imagining how swinging it gallantly. Heavy was it? How restricted? How much did it weigh? No way of answering. Ah, kill. Oh, yeah, thanks. I'm at it for. I've never known D to half-ass something once, which I guess is what makes him an. Well, I kind of assumed he'd inherit the estate and handle taking of everything. So it's like, why has he got to go and be some priest whipping boy? Don't tell him I said that though. I don't know. Despite the name, he wouldn't be fighting himself. Someone who's as passionate. He knows what condition the author is in. Why he's joining. He wants to whip him into shape, melt him down, and reforge the whole thing. What about Michelle? Hey, hold it! Pain I felt in my chest when I George's body. When I looked at his slender but distinctly male build, I was convinced it was inspiration. All go away. Positive it was. Idiot.
Michelle, hold on. You can't come barging into my room unannounced. Trying to change. I said stop. You're a girl. You can't just walk in on a man as he's changing. Listen to me, Michelle.
What just tells me you're all the.
He told you that? No, I hardly have such grand aspirations. What's gotten into you? You're unusually fiery today.
Of influence.
You what?
The way mother treats me, always saying I can't do this, that because I'm a girl. I want to learn how to swing a sword. I don't want to do embroidery. I don't care about jewelry or fashion.
Michelle, what's gotten into you?
In the world you live in, did you?
Well, I'll be. I suppose we have let ourselves spend too much time with you.
Not you two. That's exactly what mother said.
First of all, Michelle, you don't have the strength to hold a sword.
Then I'll train until I do. And if that doesn't work, I still have my mind. No good and well I could.
People are not chess pieces, Michelle.
Idiot.
Above all, you're missing the most important point. I will not, for any reason, become the kind of man who makes a woman take up a sword.
Idiot.
This may seem normal to you, growing up with two brothers, but I want you to listen to me, Michelle. Men and women walk different paths and wield swords and fight against dangerous enemies. And they do so to protect the weak, women, and children. I'm here to protect you and your mother.
Don't treat me different than her.
Honestly, what's gotten into you, Michelle? Why wouldn't I treat you like a daughter of the Bollinger estate? Your brother and I, we never meant to make you think. What?
Sorry. I knew what I was asking was.
Oh?
But I thought you would understand how I feel. Even just a little bit. What I was expecting. What was I expecting him to understand? Even I didn't understand. I wanted far more than he. What I had done was no better than throw a. Was I that desperate a night? No. I just the thought that key to the chains in my heart down that road. Nothing. Assuming Didier had agreed, and assuming I did become a knight, wouldn't do anything or problem. I dashed my face was filled with an. How could I blame him? I tried to push a dozen different ideals on him. Filled myself with a vain hope that now bubbling with unwarranted anger. I imagine how spring evening, I for one wasn't out. Not that kill me. I didn't know. I was meandering warm breeze. Girls dressed bluntly.
Mm. That's not one that we've done before, is it? The
Not
name's familiar.
name has been mentioned when
Okay.
Michel was asking about his first crush.
Yeah.
Amy.
Mhm. Um. Yeah. I don't have anything else on deck at the moment. Just gonna do a regular voice, I think. My apologies. You just have such a beautiful courtyard here. I let myself in for a little walk.
Long over around cloud of melancholy.
You must be Michelle. You're just as pretty as I heard. My name's Amy. It's a pleasure to finally meet you.
Stood there back, stepped toward.
I'm thrilled to make your acquaintance, Michelle.
Voice was like,
I'm George's fiance.
also. She was a noble girl. Amy Gilbert. Oh, no one had told me my came out of no. That evening, when the family gathered around, prepared an extravagant Father Antonin, so proud of Didier, soon to receive his assignment, and George's soon to be wed. Banquet proceeded smoothly. Not a doubt in the air. But I found myself watching deep red tongue visible by all the muscles and the way she spoke. So, and we get it, you're into her. Soft and
Hmm.
gentle, letting each sound hang briefly. She was distinctly feminine in a different way than apparently living at the bottom. Mother was, or more specifically, found some brothers from assumed I hate being. Surely she wouldn't be able to, but for some reason, felt much suffocate mother. One night, these family nobles from social circles, in the likes of which filled the great. Where everywhere I looked, there were people, servants, silverware clanged against voices, direction. Hey, D, I feel like we're critically short of waiters. Don't look good for us.
And who was it who went about inviting everyone he came across again? Who are these people?
They're artistes like me. I met them at the court. Let's see. We have some painters, some composers, some sculptors, some troubadours, poets, writers, you name it.
I don't have any connection to the Jew Bears or the Bollinges.
Sure they do. They're my friends. And you know, this is me and Amy's party.
You can play with your friends elsewhere. I hope you realize we have a reputation to uphold.
Off in one corner, several men, presumably George's friends, got in a circle. They stood out from the other appearance and they clothes the war, buttery, their manner of speech. They held. They were, simply put, a far cry. Even watching them from afar, it was clear my brothers ran in very different. The only reason Georges were able to get along at all, brothers. If they'd been strangers, I doubt they did those intersections. Quite rocky. Hey, come here, guys! Shouting voice. He summoned his friends, then led them to where. What are you doing hiding in the corner, Michel? Notice you. Allow me to introduce you to a few of my friends. No, George has put his hand on my peeling me off the
Actually,
wall
no, I'm
and
good.
standing me in front of his male friends. Socialization was the last thing on. I searched for Didier, hoping he would come to my rescue, but off trading pleasantries. This is my baby sister Michelle. Be nice.
Graces, your skin is even more pale than I imagined. It's like something out of a fairy tale. And why have you never brought her with you to court? She'd be a sure hit. And how old are you now? 12, mayhap, Gross.
Now, don't treat the lady like a child. Have you know she's 14? It's a, it's the 10,000. It's a thousand.
Yeah, no, I know. It just still feels gross.
I know.
I didn't like it. I didn't like any. Yeah, a lot of this is feeling like it's heading. I don't know. We'll see. But, all the more reason she should be out there making friends. The whole court would flip if they knew you had such a gorgeous sister, George.
Don't be a brute, my man. Our little angel has to be kept inside for personal reasons.
Sounds like I haven't been showing the ladyhood due respect. I've yet to even properly introduce myself. How rude indeed.
That's great. They looked like they were teasing me, paying enough attention and I was indeed underdeveloped for but want to buy.
Now then, milady, a proper greeting.
Man got down. Go on, Michel. He's waiting. That was when it.
What?
Come on, Michel. Don't tell. I forgot what. Had that knock. Showed me the. It was to present my. How was this? Michel. Then I, as wanted as it's been, had a reputation. Also, by tradition, the man was supposed to actually proper way to do it required he simply mimic the act, contact. That much handle. Man kneeling with a comfortable chuckle, reluctance, shrugged, then reverently, then pressed his lips firmly. A vaguely warm sensation. What do you? Collectively, I smacked the man's hand. George's eyes went wide in horror, and the man.
It's merely offering you a greeting, milady. Oh, is even that a new experience to you? Your innocence is truly precious.
Half a second away from throwing a barrage of bit my. What? Michel, hey, come back, Michel! I'd spent all that time convincing myself I couldn't humiliate my brothers, but brushed them all off, marching my. Oh, that agreed. No greeting. That was. Be taking that. With it, I washed my. But no matter how much I rubbed it with my. Wanted to. Anything else. Doing inviting people like that into our home. Business act. Not acceptable behavior. Guest should have been ashamed. No. Was
It wasn't very nice of you. Oh, shoot, wrong voice, whatever. Running off like that. Whatever.
sound of his
Somewhere in there.
voice. I couldn't turn warmth almost man from the great spun me around.
We've had prior content
Yeah.
warning for sexual assault. Didn't specify before. Feeling like we're heading in that direction again, so fair warning.
The bitter scent of wine.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell are you doing? Second time away from him. I didn't think he still I could
You've got a tongue like a boy, milady. But I know some people who are fond of that these days. Can say I don't mind myself.
let go. Had I always been this feeble?
Now, Now, just so we're clear, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm no monster, I promise you that.
Then why are you holding me against the wall? Both.
Yeah, right, accurate. Because I want the chance to try and woo you. I apologize if I made you uncomfortable back there. But the second I laid eyes on you, I knew you were a keep.
Then let go of me.
But if I do that, you'll run away. And
Hmm.
it's my personal rule to never let go of anything I like. Your brother says you can't go outside, so if I set you loose now, I might never get a chance to catch you again. Me too.
Approval. Man perked up and kept going.
If you're not accustomed to being around men, then why not use this as an opportunity to get familiar? Not a half bad idea, if I do say so myself. And I think we'd get along quite well. Besides, I'm a minstrel. Spend some time with me, I'll write you all the songs you could possibly want. You really do have the most striking eyes. Makes you
All right, Hannibal.
You cannot just say shit like that. You can't do any of this, but like. Ooh, I like your eyes. I'm gonna keep them. What? No. I was gonna read it. It just made me laugh. With a muse like that, I could write the most incredible songs you've ever heard. I just envision him with like
Yeah.
jars and the eyes in them on his shelf now
Would you
while
like
he's
to
writing,
see
and
my
he just like looks
collection?
up and yes, and then goes back to writing the next line. That's
I
gross.
said, get back, you creep.
Huh, that's odd. That one's never failed me.
The man brought his face in just in. I couldn't understand why the panic and confusion had. Go and try your luck with someone else. I'm not interested.
You, ugh, you will be soon enough, darling. You've simply never known a man's touch. Ugh.
Closer. It's already practically on top of me. Still, he closer. Old faded. Anything. Here it made open, but only feel. Mine, I kicked, pulled my fist back and slammed again and again and again until it's again and again and again and again. I beat him. Reality would. Michel, hey, what do you think you're doing? 3 seconds, 10 seconds, longer. I had no idea how much time. I had the man fell back against the wall, staring. They traded blows and then they traded insults. Before long, they had drawn a crowd. Whilst they were at it, I distracted. Go. Bother to light. I couldn't I do anything? Only magnified.
Hmm. Not familiar. A feet? A fat?
No need for that track. Dug my nail. Every last bit of it. That I didn't know how to put it. Lips. Damn it! Good and well, girl. Gideon and George's would have gotten an ear. Regardless. Damn it! Most fitting word I can come. I knew all I was. Take that up. Halfway to a scream. Wanted to yank out everything. I didn't want it. Want any of it. Any of this box. Did I want? Yeah. Man who also come to rescue. Advise myself. Yes, Michel. God, you're bleeding. That was when seconds from spilling hose when he can be a real ass when he drinks. Bit of a womanizer at that. Never expected he'd try to go after you, though. I didn't mean for this to happen. You know, can't see I have genuinely taken a liking to you.
Fucking Christ.
This makes it worse. You want to be with a man you like. I don't. Down in time. Yes, I had. Don't. Huh? Don't want to be with anyone. Oh no, no. What did I do? Shit. I don't want to be with anyone. I would never, ever be a man putting his hands on me like that. However, find someone eventually. Feels right for you. Feel kind of awful for. There are plenty of men in the world. You might not be interested in part of growing up. Just be off getting they ever happen. That's certain, but apparently that convinced him. The very idea that I might want a man who I wanted to touch me. Why did I feel like this? Was I just not interested? No, that was the case. I didn't have an aversion to men. Bulging. But I couldn't stand. Give me. Why? Had no answers. Down at me. My anger.
Oh, right. George, how's Michelle?
Inexplicably. Inexplicably. Like I had just been caught. Yeah. Want you? Glad to hear it. Clearly lying. Not even look. Gone over George's Amy on the.
You don't look fine at all. George, father was asking for you. He says it's time to bring the gathering to a close. You should get going. I'll stay here with her.
Oh, is he? All right then. Sounds good. Once the sound of George's steps had faded into nothing,
It's much better to talk to another girl at times like this.
welcoming, pleasant.
It must have been terrifying. But don't worry, you're safe now. No need to pretend, sweetie. If a man had pinned me against the wall, I'd be scared too.
Just
I believe in you. I believe you. You're a strong girl, Michelle. There aren't many who wouldn't have been scared. I'll be sure to give George a stern talking to about his choice in friends. Something I learned today is that he's somewhat of a pushover.
he's just
As a woman in this world, you have to be. And if you're not, well, you'll figure it out soon enough, Michelle. Of course, even as strong as you are, I'm sure it'll still be difficult to forget what happened to you today.
get it as soon as possible. Amy, difference between my head, my arms at all. That strong. Couldn't believe weak.
It's just the way of the world, Michelle. Men are physically stronger than women, so you'll almost never overpower one. And you're not any weaker than a normal girl. That's been restricted from all, like, strenuous activity
Yeah,
for their entire life.
right. Do frequently. I didn't know her own volition. I prayed very being enveloped in her soaked the fire. I did my best to remember the last thing I understood the feeling forward.
Your hair is so utterly enchanting. I've never seen hair so white before. Oh, well, George says white's the most difficult color to make with paint. There's no greater challenge than capturing the beauty of true white. Then with such a splendid example of the color must have given him a very high standard of quality. Say, Michelle, maybe you could tell me about yourself today. I'd love to get to know you better. Yeah, we could even become better friends if we found some mutual interests.
Playing chess and consider myself quite good.
Oh my, chess? I've never played. You're such a bright girl, Michelle.
Like to try.
Appreciate the offer, but I think I'll pass. I doubt I'd be any good.
Oh, okay.
What else is there? Say, your favorite kind of flower, fragrance, color of gemstone. Are there any embroidery patterns you're particularly skilled at?
Don't have, and I'm not especially good.
No. Do you have shaky hands then?
I wouldn't say that. They good with a knife. I think.
Oh, like a kitchen knife?
No, big knife.
Then
That really so strange.
it is a bit unusual, I'd say.
But George does it all the time. Room is practically made of wood chips and charcoal and paint.
George is an artist and a man. There's nothing unusual about him doing some sculpting.
Is it okay for him, but not for me? Being a girl really make it difference?
Well, why don't we practice embroidery together, Michelle? I get the feeling you spent too much time with your brothers. But now you have me. I'm sure it won't be long before you appreciate how much fun cooking and needlework can be.
Not an explanation. Vague generalization.
Wonderful. We'll come up with beautiful designs together. And when you made something you're proud of, you can give it to a boy who catches your eye. Or if you prefer, you can give it to your father or brother. I would like George to have what I make, though.
Wondering.
Oh, heavens, no. I've never been to the court. One day my father told me I was getting married. And the next day is when we first met.
That quickly.
What, are you worried about me, Michelle? Don't worry, I'm not displeased with the arrangement. In fact, I'm quite happy with it. Aristocratic marriages are almost always sudden. And as a woman, you get used to being a piece in their games. But George, he's different. He's a gentleman.
Gentlemen. Him.
You sound surprised. Oh, I quite disagree. I have complete faith he'll do good by me.
Nothing but a pawn. And maybe she was on an act. Trouble believing her.
One day you'll meet the right man for you, Michelle. And he won't be a drunk like that guy from earlier. He'll be a kind, hard-working, respectable man. I suppose this is all still too soon for you to, huh?
I'm a nun?
Hmm. Say, how old are you, Michelle? Wow, I assumed you were younger.
Um,
No hard feelings. You're just like a tiny little doll, so small and slender. And look, not one bit of meat up here at all.
hey! I very didn't know. Hiding the key.
You're so cold, you know that?
Touching me like nothing. George? Was it because? Or I understood it was pure attempt to escape from her grip. Twisted around, only to face in gravitating closer. That's my sorry. Apple.
Well, that was certainly unexpected. I'm sorry. Did I make you uncomfortable touching you so much?
Smelling. No, not at all.
And I must have startled you. I'm sorry. If I had let you go sooner, we would have avoided this accident. A kiss on the lips is.
It wasn't an accident. wasn't Amy. I
I seem to have confused you somewhat, Michelle. I know I can be very touchy feely with you, and you took that to mean you should do the same. Are you reading those?
yeah, you didn't hear me?
No,
Oh, I guess
you're not coming. Yeah, I'm not hearing you
I
at
must
least. It
have
might just be Discord you're not coming over on, but I'm not sure. Um,
might have been too far away from the mic.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I wasn't checking on the stream. I'm not at that bit just yet. You can't do that again, all right? If you want to kiss your friends, you do it on the cheek. Save the lips for the man you love. I should get going then. George starts getting cranky if I don't give him enough attention.
Hold on, Amy.
So long, Michelle.
She wouldn't hear me out. Once Amy had fled my chambers, that was when I finally comprehended my own emotions. That she had stolen my heart, but Amy was George's fiance. No, I body was not meant for love. I awoke in the middle of the night to pains in my joints. Exercise. I tried bending and stretching my arms and legs, but it did nothing. So after pondering on it for a bit, I decided to go for a late night. Huh? As I approached the corridor adjacent to the courtyard, I heard a woman's voice.
Still concerned about staying here.
Amy's voice. Doing my best to remain perfectly quiet, I pressed myself up against the wall by the window and listened in on the conversation. I knew it was improper to eavesdrop, but the sound of her voice had me frozen in place.
It's Michelle. I'm afraid I've confused her.
A tiny jolt ran down my spine, my muscles all at once. The sound of my name rising to her lips, but not in the way I would have liked.
She kissed me. Well, almost, but how could I have guessed she thought of me that way? Mother told me she didn't have any female friends and asked me to be one for her, which is why.
But she had only been. I'd been afraid of that. Afraid that she wasn't there to be with me, that she had no fondness for me, that my yearning for her was one sided.
Kind of scares me the way she looks at me, always watching every little move I make. I'm sensitive to that sort of thing. I can tell what's going. I can tell what's going through Michelle's mind. Managed to deflect it this time, but I should have never gotten friendly with her.
She had seen through me from day one, understood what I was feeling before I even had.
It's disgusting. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like homosexuality. Ugh.
What? Did I hear her right? Something inside me crumbled. When it came, intense sense of wrongness. Again, that fear coursing through compulsion. What on earth was I? I view Amy as a member for the things I felt. I heard Amy's sigh. Then the man beside her, who I'd been confiding in all this time, replied, "This, to give you a hint, this is Didier."
She's just a child,
That voice,
one with underdeveloped social skills besides. Understand that she's going to do and say some inappropriate things. It's not uncommon for a child to mistake admiration for love. And I didn't know this until recently, but when she gets something into her head, she has a tendency to run with it without thinking.
was not the man I assumed it was.
The other day, she asked me to let her be a knight. I can't imagine how she thought that would end any other way.
Why?
It's not very often there are women other than mother at the estate. I imagine she simply got nervous being around you and something got mixed up in her head.
I was Didier out there.
I hope that's all it was.
Thought, what were you doing being so friendly with Didier? And Didier, my ally? That all an act like her. You're going to be a knight. Why were you out here with your younger brother's fiancée?
I'm glad to have you here. So I hope you can figure out something to make it work. I'll do what I can, but. And I'm kind of reluctant to say this to you. But something has to change. As it is, she kind of grosses me out.
But what? All I had done was show feelings for her. I couldn't be George or Didier. Needles piercing me, both in size and number. Soon I was being skewered by a dozen of them. The heated sighs rising from the courtyard only served to make the pain. All I could do was cover my ears and run. Oh wait, they were banging. That was what she said. That what that implied. The heated sighs rising from the courtyard.
I guess. Must be. I assume that's what they were out there
Yeah.
for. I don't, yeah. I didn't connect the dots, though. That must be it.
What are you doing out there, dear? Am I gross, Amy? Real. All a bunch of lies. This entire house is nothing but a fraud. None of it was ever real. Family gatherings, Amy's smiles, Didier's kindness, George's. What about George's? Did he agree to the marriage knowing about them? What are they thinking? You want to know who's really disgusting? God damn it! I will not cry. I will not cry! I let myself. Tears are for girls, not for me. Bit down hard on my lip, wrapped myself in my. Pressed my hand. Squeezed my eyes shut as tight as I could manage. Tried to get away from the things I had. Images of them embracing in the night threatened to float back to the surface. I shook my head, praying I wouldn't have any nightmares. Get off to sleep. Next day, I woke with a fever. I hovered in a sweltering wave of heat, unable to scream and react to my heart, listening to a seemingly cracking noise. Sounds were coming from inside. I thought I was falling apart. Mother was horribly worried. I'd never been the most healthy child, never fallen ill this ill either. I couldn't get out of bed. My voice was raspy, woman's. I was genuinely afraid of wither away and die. Mother called in doctor after doctor to see me, but flu. That bodily pain was common with a fever. While there was a doctor, and mother was able to calm, gone. The stayed with me day and night. Sleep. Hands gripped mine. Had her head bowed as if in prayer.
Don't worry. It'll be all right, Michel. God is watching over you. He will protect you. You are His child. You are His angel sent to earth. He will not forsake you. The doctors say it's just the flu.
Though her words seemed to be directed at me. Vacantness, voice, as if they were really. For so long she had wanted a daughter. I couldn't understand her fixation. I apologized for time with her was agonizing.
How are you feeling? Your mother's here for you. Don't worry.
But the only sound that came from my mouth was a. I drifted in and out of sleep. I had numerous dreams. In my dreams, man, Dreams, Didier, George. Dreams, I fell in love with Amy. In my dreams, loved her.
You're disgusting.
But with one word, the dreams twisted into night. My body was torn into fleshy chunks, sunk into the darkness. Several days later, my fever was gone. Been there. However, voice did not recover. Attempted to climb from my bed. The murderous pain in my joints came out of my feet. My voice was unbelievably deep. Pain only got worse. Breath, it felt like hammering a neck. It felt like my body was falling apart.
Michel? Michel!
Mother scrambled into my chambers, bedside, and a wave of relief came over me. My hand out and a ability, but she didn't take it. Couldn't take it.
What's wrong with your voice, Michel? I see. You're still not feeling well, are you, Michel?
Strained fear. Palm felt hot against my skin.
You don't have a fever.
Points.
You're still sick, Michel. But don't worry, you'll be fine in no time. Now back to bed with you. You're a girl. You're a girl, so you shouldn't be sitting on the floor. It's bad for your back.
Girl, again and again, that nagging sense that's sick. Voice now. If it was, into voice, certainly not. Voice never went back. So mother ordered. I hadn't recovered yet. So long as I was sick. Again, something felt wrong about calling, but I had no way of knowing I wouldn't others sick, expose them, as she claimed. I had no choice but to do it. In time, mother too stopped visiting. The only person I saw were servants. They did their job. She used to look. No one else came to see me. Not Amy, Didier, or George. A month passed, and two, and three. Occasionally, the pain in my joints would withdraw, and other times it would worsen. Whenever I would drift off to sleep, I would hear the sound of my own joints. I would dream of a woman standing in the soft chestnut hair, wind curled to face me, smile on her face, and her breast exposed.
Normal dream.
Yeah, normal. One day, after around 6 months of servants refusing to make eye contact, I stopped one and made a request to have a mirror brought to my room. While he didn't acknowledge me the next day, I had a mirror. By that point, fairly certain I knew. I had no clothes to wear because none of the multicolored dresses had wardrobe. Pulling the heavy red cloth covering the mirror aside, completely naked body came to view. Something was a mix of a chuckle, pity still. Me. In only 6 months' time, I could extending my hand to trace the outline. My shoulders lacked mother and Amy. I was pale and haggard. Structurally, I looked like my brothers. Obviously, being younger than them, not as active, my strength but I wouldn't have batted an eye if I sword. I was a full head taller than I had been 6. Felt an odd
I'll
certainty
be right back. Sorry.
wasn't done
You
growing
can keep
either.
it.
Staring at myself in the mirror, I traced my name across the surface. Michel. Relations. But this all goes to show, communication is key.
My bad.
Welcome back. The first time in my life, I liked my name. Still didn't think an angel's name. Different. Those last 2 letters changed the meaning, turning it from a girl's name, boy's name. Oh, this makes sense. Everything was falling into place. My admiration for Didier, the envy I had for my brother's bodies, feelings I had for Amy, the indecent dreams I'd been having. It was always male. I cackled like a fool for the first time in my life. I laughed so hard at the sight of myself, my stomach hurt. It was the first glimmer of light I had seen in this locked room for far too long. This was what I was supposed to look like. My life up until 6 months ago, constricted and uncomfortable. My life as a girl was all a lie. No one could possibly look at me and call me an angel. I was always a boy. I'd been told I was a girl, forced to act. Forced that wouldn't feel right. They needed to know. I couldn't be the only one who understood. Everyone in this house needed to. Fueled by this one desire, I wrapped a sheet over my shoulders and threw open my door. It seemed ridiculous how long I'd followed Mother's instructions. Now, fantastic. Truly was a God in heaven, and this change within me was his answer to me. Manservant carrying a tray of food did a double take. The farther I proceeded to the corridors, the more eyes I felt on me. The midday sun shone obnoxiously bright through the window. Now, with its piercing radiation, its proper self, felt an odd affection. I could hear the family gathered in the great hall. Didier's voice complained about the simple meals the church provided, but his pride came through. George's voice playfully bragged about life at the royal court. Father's voice informed everyone that his investments had borne fruit, and with the money he had purchased several new estates. Mother's voice was distinctly less bright than the rest of the family. She gave vague, empty indications she was listening, though mostly stayed out of the conversation. Amy's voice sang her praises for George, her beloved husband. Never mind the fact that she was sleeping with Didier. It was all a facade, a mere shadow of a family.
It's a shame Michel couldn't be here. Then we would have everyone.
I was there. I was right there. I hadn't gone anywhere. You just locked me in my room.
I hope she recovers soon.
I was never sick at all. The child you called Michel was actually your son. That was all there was to it. Uh-huh. One's gazes concentrated on me. I gave them all a quick glance, and then, with my deepened voice, I said, I was cured 6 months ago. Who are you? Have you, father?
Michel?
Michel. This boy's Michel? Wave of chatter spread throughout the mother went pale. Father objected. Didier stared. Georges gaped. Amy watched cautiously. They were the ones who had wrongly decided I was a girl.
What's going on? Someone tell me. What's the meaning of this? You were dressing your son up like a girl, Mother? I assumed he was a girl. Otherwise, I wouldn't have put my hands on him like that. You lied to me. I would have never agreed to it had I known. No, you're wrong. Michelle is my daughter. Ugh, you call that a girl? All these months I was worried because you said he was sick. That was all a lie.
To be fair, Amy's the first one who goes, yeah, you know what? It's a boy. It's clearly your son.
Right, it's because she's
She's
looking
disgusted,
at
but
physical anatomy. I mean, no, like this is, it's not good.
It's not good.
This is just a biological essentialist argument of a different sort because there was some sort of magic involved. Or, I mean, maybe there's an explanation.
There's an explanation.
Is like a real, one of the many myriad ways in which somebody can be not just an X and a Y, but still, doesn't feel great.
Right.
Yet. You couldn't pass him off as a girl anymore, so you locked him up in his room. Is that what this is? And you could have just stayed there. What possessed you to show yourself now?
Oh. And don't get it twisted. Amy is probably the worst person in this story.
Yeah,
you have no idea yet.
Stop that! Don't look at me. Don't give me that look.
You could tell mine, didn't you?
What?
You should know exactly how I feel about you right now. You're damn full of yourself. I have no interest in a whore like you. Why don't you go cry in Didier's arms?
You...
What are you talking about? Why, Didier? Why, Didier? Why not me? What? Hey, anyone care to explain that for me? What had once been a nice family meal was now utter chaos. For the briefest moment, I felt sorry for Georges, but that whisked away almost immediately. There was a crash from the table and dishes fell, shattering against the floor.
Cursed.
A chilling darkness oozed from her voice.
She's cursed. She was my daughter. I saw it with my own eyes. I gave birth to her. She was a girl. Michelle was a girl. A malevolent curse has been placed on her.
Ed, I had difficulty. The same woman who had sat by my bedside, sick, sacrificing. Her hair was a frazzled mess. Deep creases covered her face.
Restrain her. Throw her in her room and lock the door. She's a girl. A girl. She was a girl. I swear it.
Open your eyes. Do I sound like a girl? Do I look anything like a girl? Mother's cries. Frenzy. I ripped the sheet off my shoulders, throwing it to the floor. I am not a girl! I shouted.
Eek. Ah. Restrain her, please. Someone restrain her.
Fear reigned in the grave. Then several moments of ice, broken by a muttering that shocked me as much as anyone else.
You're not a boy. Or whoops, wrong one. You're not a boy or a girl. What on earth are you? You're an abomination.
What? I had seen myself in the mirror. I was undoubtedly male. Lacking in strength though they may have been, I had visible muscles. My chest was flat, and I was taller than a girl should be. My voice was deep. I had an obvious lump in the middle of my throat. I was male. I had to be male. What else could I be? So why was Amy looking at me like I was some kind of strange creature? A chill ran down my spine, and I suddenly found myself deeply uncomfortable being.
There's nothing there. You got nothing there.
There? I didn't understand what she was talking about. Unable to press further, I felt point several servants all trained me.
She's a girl. She's my daughter.
Mother, seemingly in a mad daze, just
She was a girl.
as mother wailed, she wandered off somewhere. Father stood, stared at me with. George was still in a panic, and Didier clenched his fists. Eventually, I started regaining my composure, which is when I realized I made a mistake. Sickness, curse, was once more caged. In addition to the door being locked from the outside, windows were boarded over so no one could see me. Leave no visitors, servants. Again, none of them would. The day was the same. The only time the routine changed was when, on occasion, a servant would write a letter. My mother's handwriting on the parchment. We lived in the same house, yet for me. I had no choice but to respond to her letter. She demanded I speak like a girl, and I didn't. There was a constant sense it might fall apart completely then. So I said, I signed each letter, female name. Every time I used that name, on paper, she expressed her concern for me. So every time I took up my quill, my trembled. Prayed daily that broken. Changed? Not nothing. That I mean by that? Why did she look at me the way? How am I an abomination? I don't understand. Someone, anyone, tell me. Someone, please.
Brought you your supper. I will be back shortly to retrieve your dishes. I'll be going then.
Wait,
What?
wait a minute.
You, yes. What do you need, Michel?
A man or a woman?
Then I'm exactly what I appear to be.
Which are you?
I am a man. If that is all, I will be going now.
Clothes off.
What?
Take your clothes off. Everything in your underclothes.
What? Surely you jest, Michel. I could not possibly. I could not expose myself. You mean to humiliate me? I beg you, please reconsider.
What are you? Servant of the Bollinger estate. What am I? I am a child of the Bollinger family. Maybe locked up, prison in this room. That doesn't make you any less my.
Damn it.
Am I wrong?
Um,
Clothes off.
Michel.
Ordered you to take off your clothes.
Sucks when you realize you're actually lower in the hierarchy than the prisoner.
Yeah. Not even the tiniest sliver of guilt arose. Felt no shame in what I was. All that mattered to me was figuring out what Amy. I wanted to find the truth, not knowing I would have better off in the dark. His face twisted in humiliation. In the dim candlelight, his body was shaking. Glance, he didn't appear. A second later, though, answer found the one crucial thing he had. Lower body lacked.
Are you satisfied, Michel?
It was then that I finally learned what a man post.
I'm begging you, please allow me to dress. It would be an unbearable shame to remain unclothed any longer. Before the young Bollinger daughter.
You still look at these shoulders, my chest. Listen to my voice. How can you possibly think any of that belongs to a girl?
But how you appear does not.
Fear in the man, not out of respect for our rank, dust for things in trembling eyes, and the reality dangling there before me. That's a funny.
Mm.
Blew the lid once more off everything I'd been holding back. Without that, you would be no different than me. Everything else is all the same. So why does that make such a difference? You have one and I don't.
But, Michel?
I, I'm a man. I'm a man, just like you. I am no one's daughter. If you still insist we're not the same, then I'll make you like me.
Make you like me. Well,
I'll
like
make you like me. Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
we'll
I
remove
got
your
it.
manhood.
Without that, you're no different than me. Yeah, or the emphasis is placed is important.
Yeah, emphasis on the wrong syllable.
It was a mix of dread and panic that pushed me over the edge. And so, in order to keep myself afloat, I decided to bring another pain.
Please don't do this, Michel.
In blind frenzy, unaware of what I was doing, just riding the current of my own erupting emotions, I swiped a
Oh,
knife at the
God.
tray the man had brought, knocked him down, climbed onto him. Rid of it. I'll make you the same. Without it, you'll be just like me.
Get off me, please. Someone help.
I'll make you just like me.
Get in here. Someone. Anyone. Michelle. She's delirious. Probably not the best choice there. I might, at knife point, definitely respect people's. Like, I mean, do it normally, but like, fuck's sake.
Through the fog of hysteria, I suddenly realized I was surrounded by several servants, and the next thing I knew, I was on. There were as many, if not more of them, than when I had made the scene in the great hall. A dozen men servants staring down at me, eyes filled with fear and revulsion. In the shadows beyond the crowd, I saw Mother looking at me with vacant eyes. Mother, why? Why will you only speak to me through letters? Why do you say I'm cursed? Mother, I'm male. I was always male. Tell me that I am, Mother. Get me out of here, please. I'm not delirious. My head is perfectly clear. I'm normal. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm not cursed. Mother, say something. Mother! After that, I was shut in my room again. Even the servants stopped. I pushed and shoved and pulled and pounded with all my strength. The door and the windows didn't. Day passed, another. With no food or water, I had no idea how miserable it was to go so long without water. Cracked and difficult. 2 days, 48 long hours. Felt like I was going to lose my mind. After just 2 days, my skin stretched tight across the bones, looking hard and dry. Please give me water. Won't anyone bring me any? Why? My family had abandoned me and were leaving me to die in this. When I realized that, I broke into helplessness, threatened to suffocate. Fear of death turned into panic, which scrambled my. I grabbed a chair, swinging it at the window, at the door. All my attempts. Anyone! Fought at the door, begging for help. Someone open the door! Anyone! I need water. 1 drop is all I need. I'm going to die in here. Someone! Anyone! Mother! Father! Didier! Georges! Someone open the door, please! Help me! Someone! I need water. My throat hurts. It burns. I'm so weak. Someone, water. Didier, George. Anyone! Oh, maybe not anyone. But not a single sound came to the door. No food or water. The 3rd day came and went. And then the 4th. Wow, that's pushing it.
Yeah.
Ooh. By that point, I was unexpectedly devoid of any sense of dignity, and I sat there covered in all manner of human filth. My body quickly wasted. Still, I clung to the vain hope that someone would open the door. That's all I had. Occasionally, I would hear footsteps. Whenever I did, I mustered up what me bang on the door. Who's ever there? Please open the door. I'm begging you. Someone. Please, fell on. But they didn't respond to me. I could hear the Abigails muttering to one another in the corner.
Did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
I wonder what's gotten into Lady Michel.
Say she was cursed.
Maybe she sold her soul to the devil.
Oh, how dreadful.
We should stay away from that door. If we don't want to be cursed too.
I'm not cursed. I didn't sell my soul to the devil.
God, scared.
I might have to find work somewhere else.
Gotta make sure we stay away from that door.
I think I'm cursed. I never did anything wrong.
Lady Michel has lost her mind.
She's deranged.
Scared even thinking about her.
Changed. Mine is perfectly fine.
He's right crazy.
He's right mad. I'm not. I'm perfectly normal. Someone. Someone please get me out of here. The 5th. And 6 days without water?
Yeah.
That's on the verge of unbelievability.
2 days is 2 days. 3 days is really pushing it.
Yeah.
Like there's like it's like 2 minutes without air, 2 hours in extreme cold, 2 days without water, 2 weeks without food.
And by that point, I was hovering on the brink of death. I lacked even the willpower to hold myself up against the door. Lay in the cold. I felt no sorrow. I've been sucked completely dry. Compose a which is why, when the door I had yearned to open actually did not realize a monster was walking in. Someone stepped inside, standing over me. I was unable to process it. Damn.
Okay. My God, what a mess. Hey, are you still alive? Well, look at that. I was afraid you'd be dead. I'm sorry, really. I didn't mean you much harm. But after what you said in front of the whole family, I was a little upset.
All I could hear were gargled sounds. All I could do was moan at her.
Servants are all afraid of you now after your little episode. So I volunteered to bring you your food in their place. Everyone was so grateful. I don't think anyone likes you anymore. Yeah, first I just gave your food to a stray cat. I wish you could have seen it devouring every last bit. What I didn't know, though, was that people can die in just a few days without water. I never intended to kill you. I just didn't know. So I'm really sorry about that.
Water.
But you're alive. For someone so physically weak, you sure are tenacious. Isn't that nice? You have one thing you can be proud of.
Grr.
What was that? Water? You want water? Hold on, I got some. Right here.
Picked up a goblet with like weak. The grin spread across. And then I said, "Fucking monster."
Go on, drink. You better hurry or the rug will absorb it all. You wanted water, didn't you? Then drink.
That moment, last of my dignity, and solely by my survival instinct, bent down the rug, pressing my lips against.
Huh? You really did it. This is too good, Michelle. You look like a cat. No, cats are much more graceful. I can't stop laughing. The daughter of a prestigious family, the Bollingers, sucking water out of a carpet. I wish I had a painter here to capture this image on canvas. So, I accept that I made a mistake, Michelle. I promise I'll bring you your food from now on. I'll take very good care of you. This is going to be fun.
And that's where we're gonna stop for the night. Oh man. Yeah. So finally uncovered the last secret of.
I is I was like, man, there's a lot of trauma for this to not have a point, and now I feel like it's just there isn't a point. The point is that it's just a story about a bunch of very sad people, and that's a shame because it doesn't feel like I
There,
don't know. Maybe there's still something
there's
coming out
still
of this,
something. There's
but
still something. Don't worry.
it doesn't feel like it's gonna be worth this. Like I
You're
yeah, like I can't imagine what they're wheeling around to that they couldn't have accomplished without like by picking one of the two and like focusing on that. I guess I'm struggling to understand how they needed uh like how they're going to be able to get the message across that matters here that's in any way relevant to this Giselle's situation or whatever. I guess I don't know. It just doesn't. I'm not sure it just the like point will justify just like digging through. Like you can't just use it as plot. It's got to have a
yeah.
point.
No,
Yeah.
and I will say I'm with you on this. This was where I struggled at, and when I
Yeah.
got this point in the
So if
story.
it maybe it does wheel back around, but it's right now I'm like Jesus.
Yeah. What I would so what I'll give you here is um digging into Michelle's past here with her family. I think is going to not. I'm not saying I'm not saying this is necessary for the story, but what it does accomplish is it sheds some light onto some things that happened earlier in the story that were given to us out of context. Um,
Yeah. And like I can get there and like yeah, there's like a valuable like perspective being, like explored here. I'm not trying to like get away from that and like the other it could be as well. It just I'm struggling to figure out how it isn't just like a sensation. I don't know. I'm trying to make it not. I'm hopeful that it's not just sensationalist. Like let's make stuff that's going to make people say, "Oh gosh," and if there's not weight behind it. You know, it's
Yeah.
like Hostel
Yeah.
in horror movies, right? Like that's not there isn't like a complex, deeper layer to that. It's just people getting chopped up or
Right.
whatever.
No.
And like um not that that's exactly what's happening here, but like that there's that it's yeah that the substance behind it might not follow through. I'm nervous that that's where it'll end up, but you know,
I
I'm not
understand your
probably the
trepidation.
person. Yeah, I'm not probably the person who's going to be in the worst place for that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's got me feeling leery.
No, and I was exactly there are I am critical of this point of the story too. We will talk about it once we get to the end, I think.
Sure.
Because when I first came to this, I was like, oh wow, I okay, let's see where this goes,
Yeah.
kind of
Like,
thing.
why is there a point to this? Is there gonna be a point to this? And like, maybe there will be. I don't want to say that there couldn't be, but I'm struggling to imagine one. That's my issue. And it's, yeah. And that's like, I think leads to that sense of like, holy shit, for serious? Like, why?
Yeah.
But I don't, yeah, that's, you know, yeah,
Well, you
coming
gotta.
up on the conclusion, acting like they haven't just, you know, yeah, it's,
Yeah.
they're gonna bring in the stuff that's gonna matter soon, I
Yes.
assume,
Yes.
or you know, that's gonna like tie
Um.
things together. So
Yeah. And you're gonna have a week to ruminate on it.
yeah,
Because
we'll have some
you're gonna
time.
have some time to ruminate on it. Because there's gonna be a little bit of change in schedule for next week. A little bit. Eric, I don't think you'll be here at all with us next week.
Until
Maybe
Thursday.
Thursday. Okay. So
Yeah, the plan will be to be there by Thursday. We'll see what happens, but
I'll be taking the reins on Monday. But then I will not be available the rest of the week. So you'll get something from
should
me
have
on
Kyron
Monday.
in, hopefully on Tuesday. So
Possibly
we
have
should still
Kyron
be
on
streaming.
Tuesday. Yeah. But regardless, if you want to get notified on what's going on, subscribe to it. We stream every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. So that's not going to change next week. Hopefully, then fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Everything's going to be there. But yeah, some of the voices may be different. And or at least some you have not heard in a long time.
Right.
But that will do it for us tonight. We also have a Patreon. If you want to throw some money our way, be nice. Or you could just sit there and chill with us. That's cool too. Yeah, that's preferable, actually. Um, we'll see you at intermittent intervals next week, starting with me on
Yeah.
Monday. Until then, my friends.